Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and I have been eating a predominantly carnivore diet for the last 6 years now. In the first year, I lost 120 pounds and have been working to maintain that for the last 5 years. One of the most common questions that I get asked is, can I eat blank on a carnivore diet? There are so many questions about what's allowed and what's not allowed, and how can I be successful, how can I heal, how can I lose weight, and what am I allowed to eat in order to make that happen? And oftentimes it can get really confusing when you dive deep into the rules of a carnivore diet. So I want to address that today and really try to help you walk away with this one answer that every time you're thinking, can I eat blank? You'll be able to work through how to answer that question in 2 simple steps. Before we do that, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Element, which is the electrolyte drink mix that I use every day. It is these little convenient portable packets that have the perfect ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium that you need in order to keep you really hydrated. I love the unflavored version, which has no sweeteners, no fillers, no gluten, no junk at all, and it's just that perfect balance of electrolytes that I need. They also have flavors that are sweetened with stevia, like grapefruit and citrus, and even a chocolate one that people love to put in their coffee. They actually have the new sparkling water cans that I have not tried yet since we're here in Spain. So if you've tried them, I'm dying to try them when we get back to the US. Tell me which one's your favorite and what you think of them. If you want to get a free sample pack of their drink mix packets, you can use the link down below and go to drinkelement.com/LAURAESPATH. And with any drink mix purchase, you can get a free sample pack of these flavors. They have a 100% money back guarantee, and I'm grateful that they support content like this. Okay, before I get into maybe hinting at the fact that I don't think like being a perfect carnivore is actually necessary, I do want to say that I think that understanding the true definition of a carnivore diet is very important. The carnivore diet is amazingly helpful at healing autoimmune conditions, reversing metabolic disease, losing weight. There's a lot of reasons why it is very effective, because you are eliminating sugars, grains, wheats, seed oils, plant material, things that can cause inflammation and can be toxic for your body. So it's very helpful. And I think that the definition of what a carnivore diet is really matters. And it also has gotten very confusing over the last several years, the more popular that this movement has become. I did a YouTube video where I break down like what is a carnivore diet, and I've done podcast episodes, and I'll link all of that down below, that really breaks down everything from what's called carnivore of meat, salt, and water to animal products. Some people like myself eat cheese and eggs and lots of different animals, all the way up to something that might be considered a little more keto or ketovore, where you're including some spices and plants and other things. People are asking though on a regular basis, can I eat X food, simply because of the fact that they are wanting to achieve a specific result. And they're essentially asking, not is this food allowed, but is this food going to get me the results that I want? Like, am I allowed to eat this food and get the results that you got? I saw your before and after picture and I want those results. So am I allowed to eat this food in order to achieve those? And that's the one thing that I think that people need to focus on more than, is this carnivore? And in the Facebook groups and in these places online, people get really caught up in like, is this carnivore? And that doesn't really matter. I think that's one of my biggest things that I've just separated myself from in the last several years, is not worrying about, is it carnivore, or worrying about if I'm labeled a carnivore. And obviously this is coming from somebody who's like branded themselves as a carnivore online, and I eat a carnivore diet. And that's just an easy way for me to explain to people like what I eat and how I live my daily life. But I do think that, especially, maybe it's just an online persona, but I think we've gotten a little bit obsessed with labeling ourselves as carnivore and labeling things as like what is or isn't carnivore. And when you are deciding if you should eat a certain food, I think the last thing that you should worry about is it carnivore? Because in your normal, everyday, real life, it does not matter if the food that you're eating is labeled carnivore or not. And going back to, I think it is very helpful to understand what is a carnivore diet when you are trying to use it as an elimination protocol and figure out which foods are affecting you. But I think, like, can I eat something in my daily life? A much more effective way of deciding if that's a food that you can eat and that's going to be helpful for you is by asking yourself two very simple questions. And one of them is not, is it carnivore? Okay? The first question you should be asking yourself is, does this food negatively affect me? That's also a hard question to answer, and spending some time in an elimination protocol, you're then going to realize which foods are negatively affecting you. I didn't realize that salads and lettuce and a lot of vegetables were negatively affecting me. They were causing me bloating, digestive issues, hemorrhoids, constipations, just overall gut health issues, inflammation. I didn't realize that those vegetables were causing me issues until I had spent some time in a carnivore as an elimination diet. And now moving forward, like, can I eat vegetables? Can I eat salad? Can I eat lettuce? You have to ask yourself the question of, is that food negatively affecting you? And one of the reasons why I do stay more predominantly carnivore is because the answer to that question with most vegetables and plant food is yes. That food negatively affects my body and I cannot handle eating it physically. I just don't feel physically well when I'm eating those things. And the same goes for gluten and breads and a lot of other carbs. I get bloated, I get inflammation, any type of sugar, I get breakouts. So can I eat peanut butter on a carnivore diet? Well, peanut butter is not an animal food, so the internet's gonna tell you no. And I agree, that's not a carnivore food. But what you should be asking yourself is, can I eat peanut butter? Meaning, does this food negatively affect me? And that food absolutely negatively affects me. I will get breakouts and swelling and joint pain all from eating something like peanut butter. The second question that you need to ask yourself, besides does this food negatively affect me, is, does this food help me reach my goals? And so there's a lot of foods that are not technically carnivore that some people can handle and tolerate and moderate in their life. And some of that might be fruit. So can I eat fruit on a carnivore diet? That one's extra confusing because there are a lot of carnivores that do eat fruit and they call themselves animal-based or meat-based or carnivore, and they include fruit. And there may not be anything wrong with that. Does this food negatively affect me? And the answer is no. Fruit may not negatively affect you. You might have a steady blood sugar and not be diabetic, and so something like fruit does not negatively affect you. But the second question that you have to ask yourself is, does this food help me reach my goals? And so while I could eat a small amount of fruit and it wouldn't affect me physically negatively, I am not personally able to moderate fruit, and having a small cup of blueberries is going to turn into a large bowl of blueberries and turn into some blueberries with whipped cream. And then the next thing you know, I'm like eating ice cream, okay? Because of the sugar and the sugar cravings that it caused me. So that fruit is not going to help me reach my goals of not obsessing about food, binging, weight. I still have to be careful not to gain weight. It would be very easy for me to gain all my weight back if I was to introduce things like fruit or sugar or carbs and a lot of things that just, because of my brokenness, I'm not able to moderate eating a lot of those foods. So when I'm asking myself that question about pickles or spices that I'm cooking with, I'm asking myself, not is this carnivore, because what that label is shouldn't matter to most of us in our everyday life. But the questions that I'm asking there are, do those spices or do those pickles negatively affect my health? And I get to answer no to that. Some people with autoimmune conditions and in other situations in their life have other healing that they need to do. And so those spices and things might negatively affect them. But when I say, do those spices negatively affect me? I say no. So that's a food that I can eat. And then I also ask, do those spices help me reach my goals? And for me, actually, they are a resounding yes. Incorporating things like spices make food more interesting to me. It makes the food more enjoyable. I get more variety out of my food, and those are things that I am able to eat on a regular basis. There also may be foods that are technically carnivore, and a lot of people would tell you that they're allowed, like bacon or pork belly or even something like cheese, where that's an animal product. According to the definition of carnivore, that is considered carnivore. So does that food negatively affect me? Well, a lot of people have negative reactions to dairy, so they may not be able to include cheese. Some people may have an issue with eating pork or too much pork fat or have a reaction to bacon, so they may not be able to include those. And then something like cheese, I don't have a negative reaction to that. I'm able to eat cheese, but does this food help me hit my goals? Well, I have to be careful about how much cheese that I'm eating. I treat cheese like a condiment. So I'll put some on a burger patty, I'll put some cheese on my eggs, use some dairy to dip something in, but I can't be eating cheese as a meal or a large amount of cheese not because it's not carnivore, but because it's not going to help me hit my goals. So here's my encouragement to you is that if you find yourself online asking an internet group or asking somebody, can I eat a specific food? Realize that you're trying to achieve a specific result, and that is going to be very different for everybody. You might be able to include foods that I wasn't able to, and you might still be successful in your weight loss, even more so than I was, because we are all individual people. There is not one specific protocol or one specific list of foods that's going to be helpful for you to achieve a specific result. So over time, simply ask yourself, does this food negatively affect me? And is this food helping me achieve my goals? And stop worrying so much about what the label is, especially after you've given it a good shot of going through that elimination protocol and realizing how foods really make you feel. We have to do more about just being honest with ourselves in how foods are making us feel and the benefit of those foods in our lives. I'll tell you a secret. The only reason that I'm still eating a carnivore diet after 6 years is because when I ask myself the question of, does this food negatively affect me? And is this food helping me reach my goals of being healthy and fit and being active as I age? The only foods that I have left are pretty much meat and carnivore foods. So it's not this like big anti every other food is killing you, in my opinion. It's just that those are the only foods that I can eat and moderate and tolerate that keep me healthy in the way that I want to live my life. I hope this video was helpful in maybe answering some of those questions that you've had. If you have other specific questions after you've asked yourself those two things, you can message them down below. Or if you want some individual support and help from me or from a good community, you can come to lauraespath.locals.com, and we have a great group there that supports each other. Thanks for watching.